Dr. Alexander Rich became the president and CEO of the Gibbes Museum of Art this summer, and already he's hitting the ground running with new programs and expanding the museum. I talk one on one with Dr. Rich for this edition of Quintin's Close Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close Ups on Facebook. Dr. Alexander Rich, welcome to
Yes,
Quintin's Close Ups.
thanks so much. Glad to be here.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. You know, me and you met a couple of weeks ago, right on my bicycle right next to me.
Absolutely. It was one of the greatest encounters in my early days in this job.
And you talk about your early days in the job. Obviously, you were appointed back in August as the new president and CEO of the Gibbes Museum of Art, and you basically hit the ground running from that point. So,
I did. It's been a very busy few months.
few months. So, tell me, who is Dr. Rich as president and CEO of the Gibbes Museum of Art?
Well, I mean, the easiest thing is, I'm a native New Yorker. So born and bred on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And I've been an art lover and museum lover my entire life. My earliest memory in life is going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and seeing the Temple of Dendor in the ancient Egyptian section. So I was a cartoonist when I was a kid, but I also spent my life going to all of New York City's museums and falling in love with museums along the way. And, by the time I was 12 or 13, my mom said my dream was to be the director of the Metropolitan Museum of Art one day. So it was kind of, everyone knew this was my path that it was going to be. And circuitously, I worked at, the Met when I was 16 as a high school apprentice, and then back at the Whitney, and then back at the Met in college, and at the Whitney Museum in college, and back at the Whitney during graduate school, and other museums along the way. And then I got in the classroom when I was 25, and I redirected my career path to be a professor. So for the past 18 years, I've been a classroom professor, up until 4 months ago when I began this job. But I was also the executive director and chief curator of the once called Polk Museum of Art, and now Ashley Gibson Barnett Museum of Art in Florida. And then that brought me here to my most exciting job ever.
Wow, that is really, really amazing, Dr. Rich. And maybe you become a professor here at the College of Charleston. That might work out.
Definitely, the academic in me is always here, and I'm eager to add more and more programming of that kind for the museum, but also to integrate more and more of the area college students into the life of the museum, because I was chair of a department of art history museum studies. So that passion is extremely close to my heart, and we will be doing more of that programming coming forward.
What is the state of the Gibbes Museum of Art?
What is the state of it?
Yes, sir.
We are in a really exciting moment where we are expanding the museum. So this next chapter looks really strong for us. So I'm sitting in the garden outside of our 1905 building, and we are expanding into the 1878 building next door. So just at a view behind me, there is now a bridge that links the second floors of our two buildings, and the new wing will be home to a dedicated education center, which is really exciting for us. So 3 new classrooms and a space where we can program classes and lectures and adult learning all day, every day, weekdays and weekends. And the second floor of the new wing will add 3,000 additional square feet of exhibition space, which is tremendous for us. So a really significant addition to what we have presently at the museum. So we are in the midst of a big capital campaign, but in about a year plus from now, we will have a whole new wing to call the future of the Gibbes.
Wow. Why this capital expansion? Why now?
It's time. Where we are constantly growing the Gibbes, and Charleston is such a hotbed of culture and a premier destination for culture of all kinds. Obviously we talk about the food in Charleston a lot, but also it's a great cultural destination. And we are Charleston's art museum. And so we want to make sure that, we are on the leading edge of making sure that we are, making sound judgment about how to draw more people to Charleston, but also to entice our Charleston community to enjoy the museum more and more. And as we grow, and as our reputation grows, we need more space to more effectively do all the things that people have come to expect of us and about the culture of Charleston. So it's time. We have a 10,000 object collection, and only a small fraction of that is on view at any one time. We want to add more and more exhibitions and more programs. And to do that, we need more space. And of course, always building something new attracts new attention. So that's part of the plot here.
Okay, so you have that plot, you have the resources. So how many people do you hope to attract more to the Gibbes with this expansion?
Well, I mean, if I dream and dream and dream, if we are expecting 8 million tourists in Charleston this year, I'd like 8 million tourists to come to its art museum. That's certainly pie in the sky. But I would love to see a lot more people coming through, and that's both tourists and our community. I want more and more people to recognize us, see everything we do. We have an amazing team, a team of experts that is small but mighty, and we put on a really good show every single day, both from literally the exhibitions and also the programs we do. But also, I don't think enough people come to see us, and I firmly believe that art museums are the core of every city, let alone a major city like Charleston. And people should be coming and flocking to the museum more than they are, not out of any fault of anything that we do, but we just need more attention to us. And so there's a great arithmetic to making sure that people notice the museum, come through the doors, see the story of Charleston through the collection itself, meet Southern artists that are artists of the past and the present and hopefully future stars, but also get to see kind of the great stories of art history along the way. And it's on us, and it's the onus upon us to make sure that we stand for that in the city.
With this expansion that's going on right now, Dr. Rich, how do you tell the story of the Gibbes Museum of Art 5, 10 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that we will be recognized much more widely, nationally and internationally. We're going to have so many more partnerships, both citywide and regionally, and in the country and beyond. And I think I want people to say, oh, yeah, the Gibbes Museum of Art, that's my favorite museum, or that's my favorite museum, at least in the South. And I think it's already true, because I think anybody who takes the time to come and see us and to experience us knows that we are exceptional. We have a beautiful building, a beautiful collection. Our teams, our curatorial teams, education teams, development teams, operations teams, everybody who contributes to this, our visitor experience teams, put on an experience, I think, that is incomparable to most other museums. And so I really hope that come 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, everyone says, gosh, look where the Gibbes is today. It has grown so much over the decades. I mean, where the Gibbes is today doesn't even compare to where it was a decade ago. So I'm really glad to be at the helm to keep moving on this trajectory toward enormous recognition and growing esteem in the art world. But I want everyone to know the names, the Gibbes Museum, and say, wow, we want to work with them. We can't wait to visit again. And it just becomes an emblem for really great art museums anywhere in the world.
With that particular partnership that is coming up here in the future for the Gibbes, what more collection do you want to add?
Well, it's a great question. So we are hopeful that, and we are the recipients of, the largesse of other people. We do not have a huge acquisition budget. And so actually, we do not have a specific acquisition budget. If there's something that we want to get, we will hopefully find the funding for it. But I hope that more and more people notice us and say, I have this great collection of this art or this type of art, and say, maybe the Gibbes is a great home for that, or at least for loans of that art. To build out our collection, we need to also figure out exactly what our continuing focuses are. We are so strong in the art of Charleston, and we will always continue to tell the story of Charleston through art. That's what people want to see. It's what's important to our community. But also we'll expand to be able to showcase artwork from across the world and across the globe and across time. I think we can always diversify. We can always tell a much larger story of art history. Art history. I'm an art history professor, right? I'm a traditional art historian in so many ways, but I'm also the leader of a museum that knows that the responsibility of our museum and every museum is to tell a more holistic story of art history. So that is our responsibility to do that. So I hope as we build out our collection and our exhibitions that we have more and more broadened audiences who will realize that the Gibbes is for them and telling stories that resonate with them. But also the importance of museums is to open people's eyes to the vacuum outside their own lives, right? You don't just see things that echo your own experience. You have things that resonate with your experience, but also expand your own horizons. And that's the true power of art and museums. And that's what we really will stand for.
Oh, absolutely. From a universal standpoint, Dr. Rich, what is exactly missing from art?
Well, I think this is a really interesting question. I think that art in all times is enormously important. It's what moves us. It's what motivates us. It's what makes us think more broadly and more effectively about our lives and about the world. It's the most powerful force, certainly communal force. Obviously, it's not politics. It's not, straight up like literacy, but visual literacy and the ability to understand and comprehend the world as we see it and experience it every day is core to who we are as people. But also, we are in a world now that is increasingly like flattened or globalized. We have more access to more information, more photographs, more images than anybody's ever had imaginably in the history of time. And so I think that the power of art and the importance of art is for people also to kind of start more slow looking and more slow concentration, to get off of our phones and think about what it's like to be in the experience of actual art objects and share some of those experiences more and more, right? I mean, we all watch endless streaming shows now, right? Nobody's watching the same two shows. We used to all, on Thursday nights, we all used to watch must-see TV. Believe me,
Right.
that was like, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And now we don't have as many shared experiences anymore. And I think that art, at least traditionally, and museums traditionally have been the spaces for shared or shareable experiences. And I really hope that we get to the point where a museum like the Gibbes or museums in general and any institution that supports art can establish the idea of kind of get off your phone and think about that present experience of being, within the walls of a museum or in a garden like this and take the world in for all it is and live life in the moment a little bit more. And I think art encourages that.
And I'm probably being redundant, Dr. Rich, but what is that shared experience that gives that tugs at your heart?
Yeah, I think it is what I'm very, very big on, and I've been a very big proponent and champion forever of the visitor experience. And there's a lot of discussion, in literature these days and over the past few years about the idea of social wellness and social fitness in the space of museums. A lot of people are lonelier than ever now. A lot of people are, finding that they don't necessarily have all the kind of the connections they might have had once upon a time. And I think the internet has driven that in many ways. A museum like the Gibbes, as with most every museum, can be a space for, companionship, for rapport with others. Even if you're not necessarily talking to the other people in the gallery, you might see other people looking at that work or intrigued by that work, or you go with your family to the space of the museum. And the Gibbes will and will continue to be, it is and will continue to be a site that will establish those connections for people where it feels like it's welcoming, it's accessible. So the visitor experience for me is so important because we want to make sure that anybody who comes to the museum feels like it is a place for them and that they're learning something. And one of my mantras recently has been here among my team and with others that we have lots of responsibilities as a museum, but I want every single person who engages with the museum to come away with two things. I learned something and it was fun. And truly, I think those are the two check marks we need for every single thing we do at the museum, whether that's somebody visiting a Rembrandt exhibition or walking through our permanent collection or attending a class or taking summer camp. Or coming to an event or enjoying our garden. I want people to say, I never thought about something quite that way. Or, when I learned something on that label next to that work of art or about that etching or that painting, or, I sat in that garden and, thought about kind of designs of French style gardens. It was both educational, but also I really had a good time. And I believe that, it's not one or the other, right? No lecture, no experience should be fully dry in a museum. It should be something that was enticing and really wants people to come back. And, that was how I always taught art history. That's how I've always led a museum, saying it needs to have that fine balance between education and enjoyment and entertainment. And I think that we are going to keep kind of excelling in that way. I think we do an excellent job with that. And I want the Gibbes to become known for being a spot of great high-level engagement, but also high-level fun.
And if for somebody who wants to get that visitor experience right now, how do they go about that?
So come to the Gibbes. First of all, come to Charleston, enjoy all that Charleston has to offer, and come to the Gibbes. And moreover, become a member of the Gibbes. Really importantly, members gain a ton of benefits here. You can get free access to like 900 plus museums across the country just by becoming a member of the Gibbes. You get to come in for free to the Gibbes every time moving forward in the future. You get to come to member exclusive events or discounted events. You get neighborhood discounts. It literally pays for itself. So really, come enjoy the Gibbes, experience the Gibbes, but also it helps to keep us operating. Museums are not the profit centers of the world. We are non-profit organizations. So every membership, every donation, every kind word to our team, everything matters to us and keeps us going emotionally and literally operationally. So, visit our website, go to gibbesmuseum.org and find out what we're doing. Come attend our classes, our lectures, look at what's ahead on our event schedules. There's so many ways to get involved. And beyond that, become a part of any of our auxiliary groups. We have a women's council. We have Society 1858. We have so many ways for people to get involved in the world of the museum. And the world of museums are fun, and the Gibbes will be a fun place. I can't wait to engage with so many people. I've made it a point always in my work that I want to be accessible as well. So you'll see me wandering the galleries and say hi and come visit and make appointments with me. And we're always welcoming new ideas. Also, we are within a somewhat insular world of the museum itself. We always welcome ideas from others. How do we inspire more people? What kind of other programs would people like us to see offered? We are always open to any sort of contributions from the community or suggestions to the community as well. We're always growing and always evolving.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I know you're busy, so thank you for your time. Dr.
Well,
Alexandra Rich with the Gibbes Museum of Art, thank you for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
thanks so much, Quintin. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.